Ambrose. Oh, I think the Bombers are going to go on with it here.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bomber Banter. It is Fiona's forecast, forecasting our big game, King's Birthday Eve, v Carlton at the MCG, Sunday night. What is going to come of it? To talk it through with me, Solution.
What's happening, Fiona?
Not too much today. What about you?
I was just mulling over the game on, what night was it? Thursday? Seems like a week ago.
Yeah, it does.
Do you know, should we be happy or sad?
Oh, we should be stoked.
Yep, agree.
Absolutely.
Do you remember what we forecast last week?
I know I forecasted a 97-point loss or something.
I think I was relatively conservative. I said 70.
Yeah, you were. But you know what? This is what I figure. I figure we are just really, really good fortune tellers and we were skipping a week.
You think it's going to happen this week?
I think I could have just uploaded the forecast to this week and changed the background. And it's probably going to be what we expected to happen this week. But we will get into that, won't we?
We will get into that. So starting with the predicted changes. Now, we know we come up with a different problem this week, which is Carlton have some very good tall forwards. One in particular. We've got one key defender who did what I said he'd do, actually, which was lift and raise his level. So I was very, very proud of Laverty's game, actually.
Yep, but he was brilliant. But he also, could be not even called a key defender, could be arguably a medium defender-ish because he's not even a tall, regular defender.
No, and he wasn't on the sort of archetypal big key forward either. This week's a different story. Do you foresee any potential changes that might solve this problem?
I have, and I felt this since he was named in the VFL. I have a feeling that they're going to bring in Liam McMahon, who we drafted last week. Ever since they announced that he was playing in the VFL last weekend and he was going to fly straight up with Oscar Smart to Brisbane to play in the VFL, something in me said, and the fact that he played back in the VFL for a bit, I just thought to myself, I wonder if they had forecasted in mind the fact that we have three-time Coleman medalists in two players coming up on King's Eve, and that's just too much to ask of Laverty. And I don't know, Pryor, Redman, I just genuinely don't know. You cannot have Pryor or Redman up against a Curnow or a Mackay. You just can't do it. So my first gut instinct was I wonder, and I bet they're going to bring him in to play in the back line on one of them. And look, he's a key forward, but to say to him, look, just match up on one of them, stick like glue to him, take his leading space and just limit his damage, one of them.
So I can't remember. By the way, fantastic post-draft Bomber Banter video by you and Felix. It was fantastic. A live, I should say, rather than a video.
Yeah,
I can't
Felix
remember.
Was great, wasn't he?
Oh, he was sensational. You both were. I can't remember. Was he the Matthew Lloyd? I think there was going to be a Matthew Lloyd, a Dustin Fletcher, a Simon Madden. And I can't remember who the other one was. Was it
Nick Watson,
or something like that?
Tom Hawkins.
Tom Hawkins. Yeah, that's right.
He's the Matthew Lloyd-ish one, I think. That was Felix's. I don't think he's not the Tom Hawkins one. He's the more skinny bean shoot built with a beautiful vertical leap player. Still at that 198 centimetre in height, so would still be playing, I believe, underneath the McCurnow and Mackay height. But that's a length better than having just Laverty to do all the work and then the next best Redmond. So I don't know. I think it would be a smart decision. I mean, alternatively, you bring in another ruck, but again, that doesn't help much at all. So I don't know. I think they should. I think they should do that, and that's what I'm gonna put my money where my mouth. Well, metaphorical money where my mouth is, and say that that's what's going to happen, and the rest can go unchanged.
Yeah, I do worry, just projecting forward as an aside, how Lloyd and Hawkins will work together, but they'll have to sort that out. I guess the alternative is Vigo did have 7,000 hit-outs, and you just plonk him somewhere in, or even Peter Wright, who did a bit of that last week, plonk them in the sort of, the defensive 30-metre line and just say, try and read the play and try and create a contest. But I don't recall that really working anywhere, anytime.
Vigo's another option. You just hate to bring him in to play in a position for his first debut game on a Coleman medalist in a position that he doesn't play. So I'd hate for that to be his. But hey, maybe he'll thrive with a challenge. I don't know. The 2 metre Peter idea, no, definitely not, because that's robbing Peter to pay Paul, because, Caddy is going well because of 2 metre Peter's dominance so far since he's been back. So, and he's down there when he's in the ruck already anyway.
True.
Not lining up one-on-one. So I would hate to lose that from our forward line. I think that's just allowing Wiedering to do whatever the hell he wants back there. Would you be worried? Would you be worried saying to a player? The other good thing is that he was the VFL captain, Liam McMahon, for Carlton. So he would know their system and he would have a bit of an idea. He would know some of the players. So that's another little tidbit of advantage that he would have.
It's a good point.
My question is to you is, would you be worried bringing in a player who was just drafted last week to play in a position that he doesn't normally play, but he has some experience in it?
Absolutely, but I'm worried already. I'm shitting myself. Well, we had this argument on our pod where the Windsock 2000 and the architect and Joe were pretty relaxed about Laverty being our sole key defender. I don't get it. I reckon we're scratching for answers to solve a very difficult problem. And
is that recency bias though? Are they okay because of what they saw against Brisbane?
Yeah, it's absolutely recency bias, and it's, in my opinion, discounting the nature of our opponent. So I'm extremely worried. So I will be worried whatever we do.
Yeah. And granted, I didn't think there's a team in the AFL whose forward entries could be worse than ours, but theirs actually are. So whilst they have 3-time Coleman medalists down there, the way they get the ball or attempt to get the ball to them is absolutely putrid. So, they're not doing themselves any favours, but given that we have one, if we only go with Laverty, that's going to make their life a lot easier and a lot, then, they're going to fix that problem in 1 week.
Yeah, and don't forget,
kick it high and say jump.
Well, and they don't even need to mark the ball. You sneeze on Curnow, what happens?
Yes, good
Free
point.
Kick. So
good point.
It's not like Lavert can try and use his body to off-put him or anything like that. No, we're scratching for answers. Whatever happens, I think will be a throw at the stumps. But look, we've got to try something.
Yeah, I think it would be remiss of the coaching panel not to do that, not to bring another tool, and mainly for Laverty. Because imagine if he's on Curnow, because he's probably the more damaging of the two, but then Mackay's taller than of the two. So let's just say he's on let's just say he's on Curnow in the first quarter and Curnow kicks 4 or 3 in the first quarter. What's that going to do to Laverty? Like, his confidence is going to drop. He's going to start, and he can he's not immune to a cheeky little clumsy arm around the neck or arm around the shoulder. So he's going to start overcompensating and giving away free kicks. And as you say,
Yeah, I think the line for free kicks to Curnow is probably 4. I think he'll get 4 inside 50.
yeah, it's where he gets them. Yeah, yeah. Our thing, yeah, and we'll talk about the game a bit later. But yeah, let's hope. I think. Well, what would you prefer? Would you prefer to bring in that untried player who doesn't play in the back line to play in the back line on a common medalist, or just as what you said on the pod with the other guys, go in unchanged and trust in Laverty?
Yeah, I think we do something different. We cannot, unless we just plonk Peter Wright down there, or who knows? Caddy can probably play down there. He's got the hops. Might be a good learning experience for him also. So there's always that option. But again, either way, we're scratching around in the bottom of the back of our couch for some loose 20-cent pieces to try and pay the electricity bill. I think we're going to be without lights this weekend.
Oh, I think that's a really good way to say it. I think it's a fantastic way to say it. And listening to Terry on Blue Abroad, he and all the fans on the fan cams, they're just like, we dare you. As in, they dare Carlton, because Carlton are going badly. We dare you to lose to Essendon. Like, that's where they are. They're at that point of the tightrope snapping.
They have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, nothing.
As I said,
absolutely nothing.
Behind the couch, there's Dorito chips from 3 years ago. There's a used condom. There's paper clips. But there's no money. So they have nothing to worry about. That said, if we do win, we did talk on our pod, we might have to split screen Bomber Banter with Terry's channel, Blue Abroad.
Yes.
Because that will be compulsory viewing also.
I mean, half of Essendon fan base are in Terry's chat for fan cams, and half of Carlton fan base are in my chat on fan cams. So, it could be a great idea to do a dual one, because then all the fans come to the 1 yard.
Yeah, exactly. I want to ask you one thing about potential changes.
Okay.
Sardis is going to get dropped again, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, I reckon he'll be the sub. If I was making if I was doing the changes, it'd be Liam McMahon in, Archer Day Wicks out.
Yeah. Day Wicks struggled to get his hands on the footy.
Yeah, and just looked a bit off for me. Looked off the pace. Needs to go and get some of that instinct, football instinct, that Angus Clark has already, kind of thing. But that's what I would do, and then Sardis sub again. Sorry, Elijah. But looks good. Yeah, sorry, go.
No, I personally, I'd rather see Sardis have a go instead of Hobbs. I haven't seen the improvement from Hobbs, even though he's had lots of continuity. Might as well give a shot at Sardis and see what he can do.
I'd be completely comfortable with that. I thought he was probably he was okay. He did a few nice things, but and the thing is with Hobbs, he didn't go to many centre bounces, so he's not really playing that position where he excels. When he's in the middle for a stoppage or a centre bounce, and he's first at the ball, he does pretty well, but he didn't go to many. So, but you can't be one-dimensional in this game. You gotta have skills.
Exactly. Now, let's move to the Smoking Joe and the Sitting Joe.
Houdini.
Oh, the Houdini. Well, again,
there's a very obvious one, though.
Archie. Bad Archie. So we said on the pod, or the question I asked on the pod, is he now an official Kevin Walsh / Paul Salmon whipping boy? Has he become the Essendon fans' whipping boy, and are we being a little bit harsh? Your face is telling me no.
I don't think so. I think it's warranted. And don't get me wrong, listeners, I'm not trading him. I'm not, getting rid of him, throwing him in the rubbish. I am dropping him though. And I do believe that he is keeping his spot for the bigger picture, A, for the future, and B, because there's really no one to take his place that is another bigger body that can play half forward. Sardis, one-dimensional. Hobbs, one-dimensional. They don't fill that forward gap, whereas Archie can be a force down there on his day. But the problem is it's on his day now. And when he is asked to stand up defensively, he's not answering the calls. And he hasn't played VFL football a lot. I think he's played a few games, but hasn't had to earn it like your Zach Reeds have, like your Harry Joneses have, like hasn't had hardship, touch wood, and I'm glad he hasn't had a lot of hardship. That's wonderful. But sometimes with some of these players, they need to be put in the VFL to gain some perspective.
Yeah, it's funny, like when Harry Jones was dropped a couple of years ago, from that day onward, you saw an increase in intensity. Now we know he's got his faults, and definitely remains to be seen whether he'll end up being a player for us. But yeah, there was no question he learned something from going back.
And we never question his effort. Yes, he may not be excelling on the wing, but you never question his effort ever, or intent. And that was what was being questioned. So I just think Archie is in that mould, and right now he's getting a game because we don't really have a replacement. And I personally, he's not my whipping boy in that. It probably is for some people because people thought he'd be the Stringer reincarnate, and he's not. And he's not that for me. I never thought he'd be, I wanted him to be more than Stringer. I wanted to see him be better than Stringer, not with more pizzazz and more, carry on, but with a defensive bone to his game.
Yeah, we haven't seen any of that, have we? So he's a Houdini.
Yeah, for mine.
All right. Well, then moving to Sitting Joe and Smoking Joe, you're doing the Smoking Joe this week.
Yep.
Who will raise their level?
I have a player in mind, and again, don't know why, but it came to me watching the replay one of the times out of a certain amount of times that I watched the replay. Kako.
Think he turned the corner?
Did you say, did he turn the corner?
Yes, did he?
What do you mean, did he?
Well, I think he's been really quiet in recent weeks, and I thought he had a bit of a better game and got more of the ball and was just a bit more involved this week.
See, I know most people are saying he needs to lift, maybe he needs to be dropped, but I don't subscribe to any of that. I think he's doing exactly what he should be doing, and he's doing as well as what we allow him to do with no other small forwards around him until Matt Guelphy came back. And I think his perceived pressure is a thing, and I think opposition, even though he's only in his 12th game, 13th game, whatever, how many we've played, 12, I think his perceived pressure radar is already on opposition's minds. And so even when he is not nailing a tackle, I think they're worried about him. I think his elusiveness is underrated. His ability to shake a tackle or draw a free kick is underrated. And I think he is giving energy when there is none. And again, how good did it look? Guelphy, Gresh, Kako, the three buzzing around. Kako's not having to ping pong from defender to put pressure on. The ball hits the ground. If Kako can't make a tackle, the ball spills out. Then Guelphy comes up and gets involved. So I don't believe that he's been behind the corner or around the corner. I think he's been on the corner, and
he had no corner to turn.
Where am I going with this corner? You started the corner thing, and now I can't find my way back out of the corner.
He's going down a straight street. He has no corner to turn, is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly. I think he's, he may be going down a slight hill sometimes, and doing it hard, but small forwards don't accumulate possessions. That's not their role. Yes, you could say maybe, I think he's getting, don't forget the forward line is building a chemistry and all of that. So he's plonked into this new system down there. So I think, but I think this week, I just think he'll get on the back of a couple of goals because Carlton don't really have anything in the form of quality small defenders. Adam Sard is terribly out of form. That doesn't make me happy
I might have
at all.
snuck onto Blue Abroad last week and someone was ripping into Sard for his unaccountability. It's like, bro, that's written on the tin. That's the package. That's the fine print with Sard.
And they're saying he's going sideways, not forward. And I'm thinking to myself, wow.
Where you been, bro?
Yeah. Although I think the one thing he did always do is go forward. And I think Carlton have beat it out of him, to be quite honest. Because now he goes sideways. I don't know why. It's their system, I guess. I don't know. But other than Sard, they don't have any shutdown quality small defenders, medium defenders. So that tells me that Kako could maybe have a little look in.
Maybe 2 goals or 3 goals, potentially.
Yeah. Yep. Sneaky little stoppage goals, snaps around the corner. I reckon he's primed. Who are you giving the Sinjo to?
This one's pretty easy. And I think for the first time ever, the person who I gave in previous week's Smoking Joe and won the Smoking Joe, justified that decision, will now become the Sitting Joe. And that's poor old Laverty.
Oh.
He is going to be in a trench in the Somme in France in 1913. And he is going to
his
have
life choices?
Yes, he is going to have a hard, wondering why he volunteered. He is going to have a hard time of it, unfortunately. And it's not, look, we said last week, even when he's poor, his effort is always there. And he had a monster effort last week. I really think he deserved the plaudits he got because he was mentioned by a lot of people this week. But yeah, he's going to have a tough assignment.
He's not going to have a fun day. That's, and we hope he's not in that mind frame. I'm sure he won't be. I'm sure he'll feel quite confident on the job he did. But the the realism is that Eric Hipwood is not Curnow or Mackay. And
he's Hipwood.
Yeah, that's right. And they've got a third down there as well, a kid down there who's, is another tall option, but that's pretty okay for Pryor or Redmond. But yeah, he's probably not going to have a great day. And I hope they bring some help for him in.
They have to. So what's your prediction?
Oh, I think it would be silly for me to say the 97 points this week, but I do think it's going to be. I think it's going to be about 60. Fly right above my head. That's great for professionalism. But anyway, I think it's going to be 62. 62. The thing is, Carlton, as you would expect them to be, with Cripps, Walsh, Chera, they're very good in their engine room, and they are leading the KPIs in terms of clearances, stoppage clearances. But where they're falling down is actually any semblance of a plan going forward. Their plan is get it out of the stoppage and go as fast as humanly possible.
We love you, Voss. We love you, Michael Voss.
That's right. But that kind of sounds like our plan until last week. But they're even worse. So think of how frustrated we get and think another level of that. And that's Carlton. And I cannot believe they are wasting these Coleman medalists. That's the part that gets me. I'm like, how can you be wasting these Coleman medalists by your absolute junk forward entries? So the way we work it is we got to pressure them so badly. If they win the clearance, we got to just jump on them with pressure and force that quick kick, quick kick. And they don't use the corridor either. They take the safe option. They spread because most of their players are good outside runners. And so they don't take the corridor. But where do forwards like to lead? Straight up the guts.
Do you worry that because they're so aware of our defensive deficiencies, that in terms of height, that they'll just maybe be more direct this week?
I think they'll absolutely try. Yep. I think the plan, they'll tell them, look, you've got a very high percentage chance of winning the clearance. But you've got to just lower the eyes. That first possession after a clearance, lower the eyes. And we've got to make it impossible for them to do that. We have to pressure them, meaning that, our half backs are going to have to push up a little bit. Half forwards, the wings are going to have to push hard and pressure the ball carrier, because if we allow them to lower their eyes and get that extra second, it's finished. We have no hope, and we won't be helping our defenders.
That's quite a margin that you've said they're going to win by. Do you think that they'll start running forward to the ball and get their tails up and just be a bit sort of flat track bully like?
Yeah, front runners, like they'll consider themselves like running on top of the ground if they have a very good first quarter, and they've statistically been very good in first halves. It's their second halves. The one thing that I like that we have that they don't have is that we're starting to build a bit more mental stability, and they're mentally fragile. They will drop their bundle, whereas we got 32 points down against the reigning premiers at their home in Brisbane with half a team. So our mental resilience is starting to really, really build, whereas we can take advantage of their fragility in that area. And if we so happen to give them a sniff of momentum our way, they will crumble. They will go into their shells, and we will be able to, like, ahead of the ball, I'm so confident. Maybe that's recency bias confidence. But if we get it out of there, I feel confident.
I think our players will bring the pressure because they saw how it was rewarded against a better credential team than Carlton last week. Yeah, I don't think it'll be quite so bad. I can see them just they'll fade late like they always do, and we'll probably do our typical thing and struggle first quarter. But I can see us coming back and salvaging an honourable 30-point loss potentially. I'll go 30 points.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I just would have loved to have like Mackay at least. Even if it's Mackay and Laverty, I just would have loved to see what they could do if they could take the momentum of last week's brilliant display and just carry that on, because everything is kind of similar, except it's not, if that makes sense, in terms of the way that we could set up and play. We have got them on work rate. I believe they are not great if they have to work a little bit hard. They're okay offensively, but defensively they get found out. And again, that mental fragility, and I just think we would get them, because what worked for us on Thursday was 4, 5, 6 players just locking in on their work rate and working so hard, and the Brisbane direct opposition wouldn't go with them and work as hard. And that was the difference. Obviously they won in the end because class and, we had a VFL team basically, but that was the difference. So I just would have loved to see what this team could have been with Mackay.
Just think 3 weeks ago we had Reid and Mackay in the team.
Okay, that's depressing. Maybe
and
we'll have them back.
Teaming well together, looking good together, starting to figure it out.
Maybe we'll have them back for when we play Carlton again.
Maybe.
So you're going 30, I'm going 60. Okay. Neither is a fun result.
Yeah, I don't want us to get thrashed. The thought of Carlton suddenly thinking they're, top 4 contention again, and they will.
They reckon they won't.
Oh, is that what they're saying?
They reckon that, Essendon, of course, because we're meant to beat Essendon and we've got no play, our team's injured. They reckon they'll be able to stay firmly in reality, but I doubt that.
Okay.
I think they'll think they're back.
Yeah, me too. All right. Couch question. Guess what? I didn't prepare.
I mean, where's the shock? speaking of what's on the tin, that's exactly what's on your tin. When you joined me here, I read all of the instructions and I thought, oh, do I want to sign up to this? Given that I'm a very prepared, organised person by nature, do I want to sign up to partnership?
But opening the curtain just a little bit, so people can see behind the curtain. We've been doing this pod. We'll be doing Fiona's forecast now since the start of last year, and Fiona's been podcasting with the Windy Hill Windsock for years now. And I always send the link the last second and organise things the last minute. And it's starting to sort of become me. Is this a fair statement?
No, it's not, because I have I have a diary where I keep all of what I have to do for this channel to keep it going, and it can be quite confusing and technical. So sending you the link for this recording is at the bottom of my to-do list for the day.
Okay.
So it's just all to plan.
Right. Okay. Oh, I believe you. You ready for your question?
All right, let's go.
Has anyone ever taught you how to defend yourself if guys mess with you? Has anyone ever taught you how to defend yourself if guys mess with you? Self-defense, I think, is the question here.
I mean, I don't know how I can help. I can't help with that question though, but I'll answer it. I believe when I was in high school, they did get, because I went to an all-girls high school, they did get a few specialists to get in and teach us some self-defense classes. And I don't remember a single thing from it. At this point, I just get myself strong and healthy I am stronger than I look. And I just feel like I could absolutely kick the shit where it hurts out of a guy.
Swift kick in the nuts.
Exactly. But I do wonder if I should learn, or I could probably watch a YouTube tutorial, but if someone came up behind me, you know?
Yes.
I should learn how to defend myself if that happened.
Couldn't hurt, you wouldn't think.
Yeah. I mean, in this day and age.
Can't buy a machete anymore.
Oh, the riots. I can't believe it. Machetes. I mean, I am very careful, and I can't believe it's 2025 and I have to be. I walk with my keys in my hand always, day or night. Always. Just in case. I walk. I don't walk much, like at night in the dark. I would love to go for a run in the summer at night, but women can't do that, unfortunately. So, and as I said, I keep very strong and build muscle and lift muscle. So I'm just going to bank on myself and my loud voice to call for help, and try not to put myself into situations where it could occur. But as we know, that's not always the case, and we don't live in a perfect world where these things happen in dark alleys. A lot of these things happen in public places, and it's pretty sad. But I would, don't do as I do. If I to give a little bit of advice, don't do as I do. Go and have a self-defense class every now and then, and maybe this will spark me to do it as a woman, but also a man. I think it can't hurt to learn to defend yourself. It's more the thing that plays on my mind is if someone attacked me from behind and caught me unawares. If someone was to attack me from the front, I feel like my strength, and I'd just like wave around like an octopus or something and just flounder so much that
Italian hands would be going.
Exactly, that they just get annoyed with me and say, "Oh, fuck you! I'm going for somebody else." That's my plan. That would be my plan.
Yeah, I know. I did when I was a kid. I did martial arts, and then as soon as there was a fight in the school ground, I just completely forgot it too.
Oh yeah,
It's basically swinging like a windmill.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't think, because your fear takes over. The fear that comes up is, oh my God, I'm going to die. That's the first thing that comes into your brain, not your training, but maybe
I think
repetition.
martial arts teach you to be calm in those circumstances. I think.
Okay,
I
so
think that's part
you've
of
got
it.
some work to do there. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. And living in the north, I win most of my fights by 10 metres. So you just run around here.
Yes, the other thing is like be a good runner. Just run away from them because, generally they're not athletes coming to get you, are they? Great
No,
athletes.
no. You did have someone on the fan cams on the weekend who I
Yeah.
reckon could be a Windsock member and might have been running from the law. Speaking of running, that dude in the dark.
Oh,
He was
Muzz.
good, by the way.
Yes.
What was
Yes,
his
he
name?
was great. Muzz.
Muzz. Yeah. Muzz, you
Yeah,
look like
I
Windsock
mean,
material to me.
well, maybe send him an email, get recruiting. I do have to say that on the fan cams, I do have to see, you have to have your camera on so I can see who you are before I let you on the screen for obvious reasons. With him, I accidentally let him on before I saw that he was a person and not
Okay.
doing something crude or anything. But you live and learn, and so he taught me a little lesson. But yeah, he was in the dark. I kind of thought he may have been next to a sleeping person and was trying to be very respectful.
Yep.
And then I made him turn the light on and turn up the volume. But sorry, you need, for future, anybody watching this that's going to come on in the future, I need to just see a little bit of light and see your face.
Are you going to continue your policy of allowing Carlton Wizards to come onto the fan cam as well?
I'll tell you what, I'm going to have a chat to Terry about it on Wednesday and also Pommy on Thursday. There were lots of them in the chat too, but that wizard did Gremlin, would we call him?
He was a weird unit.
I don't think he was necessarily there to be as happy as we all were at the time. I think he was more troll than love that I felt.
Yes, but you, to your eternal credit, you dealt with him perfectly. You were still respectful. You didn't take it too seriously. But I reckon next time, flush him to the shark pool earlier.
Well, it's funny because in the chat, you guys were all like, "Oh, who's this guy? I like his hat. I like his hat." And then he started, talking junk about Essendon, and then you're all like, "Get him out, kick him off," and all the comments turned, and I was having a little laugh to myself. And in my head, I'm thinking, "What do I do here?" But I do know that I have just a remove button that I could just do if I needed to. But he was pretty respectful. He wasn't aggressive or vitriolic. So I gave him a platform for a little bit of time, and then I was getting Mama Bear defensive.
Yes. Well, I hope that answered the couch question. And if you want to submit another question to Fiona's couch, go onto Fiona's Twitter handle and go to the Not Gonna Lie link, and you can leave your anonymous question.
Yes. Alrighty. Well, I think that's another week down for the forecast.
Correct.
What's on for the rest of your week?
I'm going to sit in the lotus position and just meditate and pray for Laverty.
I think, everyone get out your sage, get out your blessings and keep him in your prayers throughout the week. The good news
Imagine
is
he gets injured in the first minute.
Stop it. Stop it. You take that back.
Yeah, I do take it back.
The good news is I told you that the universe told me no more injuries now. Mid-season draft is out the way. Done. The good news, we play on Sunday. So
yes,
very, very quickly it will be over.
Good point. All right. Well, thank you, Fiona. Well done.
My pleasure. I will let you go and I'll talk to you during the week.
Done. Have a good one.
Bye.
Go Bombers.
All right, everybody. That is done for another forecast. Now, a few little housekeeping things. A Thursday night team selection will have a special guest Pommy, bluesman Pommy from Pommy and Oz. He is renowned for his very level, measured takes on Carlton and all things football. So that will be an absolute treat. It will be a live show as usual. It'll just be me and him chatting, but you can ask questions in the chat. I especially want to ask him how we have a 61-year-old Todd Goldstein not completely destroyed by Tom de Koning, as has happened in the past. So if you want to find the answers to that, Pommy's going to give them to us, hopefully. Not that it's going to help the team, but at least it will help us spiritually. I will leave it there for tonight, and I'll see you all Thursday night.